It's Bridget.
We're so annoying. And Brendan.
And it's time. Let the hijinks ensue. Was that good?
That was really
how we
good.
should do it?
Yeah, dude, I don't
Okay, I
know.
think that's kind of cool.
What's up?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard anybody say like, you should keep politics out of art or
Me
anything similar?
all of the time.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's silly.
I was gonna use stronger words.
Should we talk about that?
I think that we should. This is the topic we should talk about.
Okay. Today we're talking about why books are political, should be political,
Absolutely
are always political.
Correct.
Cool.
Reading in and of itself is a political act.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Interesting. Could you explain?
Yeah.
What you mean?
So here's the thing.
Okay.
Have you ever heard people say that history is written by the victors?
Yes.
So choosing to educate yourself is inherently a political act.
Okay.
Right?
I'm following.
Also, in the world that we currently live in, access to books in general, but not just books, any kind of literature, magazines, newspapers, whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's not equal.
Correct.
Not all people have the same rights to reading because
rights or even just like access. Yeah.
Yeah, because of political systems.
Yeah.
Right? So going out of your way, especially as a person who has the access, who has the rights to read things that matter and learn about things that are important, is political.
Yeah.
Inherently.
Makes sense.
Those are my initial thoughts.
Okay. Cool. I didn't even think about that at all. Here's where I'm starting out. Is I found this quote.
Yeah, I love quotes.
By freaking George Orwell.
Really?
Yes.
1984 guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wrote an essay called Why I Write, I'm pretty sure is what it's called.
Amazing.
I think it must be popular because it was like the first thing that popped up when I typed in. I don't remember what I typed in. Googled something about books being political. No book is genuinely free from political bias. The opinion that art should have nothing to do with politics is itself a political attitude.
100%.
So I was kind of thinking about that, and I was like, okay, well, what makes saying that books shouldn't have political themes in it a political act? So I was like, okay, well, what is like political? Like, what does that even mean? Because it's like people say it all the time, and I'm like, oh, it's like interacting with your system of government or like whatever. But the definition I found that I kind of liked, that I feel like really encompasses what it is like now, because I feel like now our understanding of it is different than
1776.
whatever. Yeah,
for sure.
Right. It's just the process of group decision making.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like anytime there's any conflict, like let's say, so with this example from the quote, I say books shouldn't be political, and you say books should be political. Now we're both having a political opinion, and it's now a political statement.
Correct.
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I also think, I don't know, it feels different now than it did when we were younger.
Yeah.
Like the fact that our 17-year-old sister, not to call you out, but has political opinions, period.
Which one is 17?
The youngest one?
She's 17?
How old did you think she was?
I thought she was oh, her birthday was in February.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was 17. That's crazy, dude. Sorry, youngest sister.
Anyway, the fact that she has even like the awareness.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't in that frame of mind necessarily at 17. There were some things that I was thinking about.
I was aware of who the president was.
Sure. I remember having discussions like in history class about, I don't know, gay rights, because that was happening actively when I was in high school. Okay.
Which is crazy.
Bonkers. But like the awareness that teenagers have around politics is way different in scope than it was when we were young.
Sure.
So it feels to me like we're kind of having to broaden the scope of what is political.
Yeah.
When I first, when I was a younger adult and started trying to like wrap my mind around politics in general, a la the first time Trump ran for office. It felt very like, what are the policies? How does this impact taxes? How does this impact infrastructure, right? And I think that for a long time kind of was a lot of what politics was, and it doesn't feel that way anymore.
No, I remember the first time I could vote, it was very much me trying to figure out, how does this affect me?
100%.
Me. How does this affect my life?
What does my life look like if so and so is elected to this position?
And now it feels very much like, how is this affecting everyone else?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like almost nothing that's not true, because I care about, like, healthcare.
Sure.
And a livable wage.
Sure.
And, like, housing, which definitely affects me and everybody, but it feels like the more pressing issues don't really affect me.
Yes. Agreed. Yeah. In the scope of reading.
Yeah.
The reason that I bring this up is because it doesn't, like, you can read a book and say this has nothing to do with government policy, right? Absolutely, that would be correct. However, things like Demon Copperfield and a serious wage gap, or class divide, if you will, political.
That's inherently political, yeah.
Or even like fantasy books, like one of my favorite trilogies, the Fireborn trilogy, talks about uprising against a government who started with good intentions and went too far.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
political.
That's Mistborn too. It's like almost every science fiction or fantasy that I've read is very, very close to, like, overthrowing a government or a system of power that's oppressive.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so while you can say, like, that's not what's happening right now or whatever, that may, like, maybe we don't say our government specifically started with good intentions and have taken that too far. Whatever, right? It doesn't have to be the exact same type of thing that's going on. But what's happening is you are learning how to understand how decisions made by other people affect everyone.
Yeah.
And how that transpires for people's lives, for better or for worse.
Right.
And especially in the state of the world that we're living in now, that's a political thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well, it's also just, like, very basic, right? Like, an author writing a book, like, you need your book to be entertaining. Like, you're writing a book because you love it, but to sell the book, right?
Yeah.
So there needs to be conflict. What conflict can you write about that's relatable, that's not inherently political?
Agreed.
Like, there isn't one.
Right. Unless you're writing, like, I feel like romance books.
Yeah.
Maybe could fit under non-political, but even then.
Well, I don't know, because you're writing about a relationship, and like, in our world today, like, the intricacies of a relationship are also inherently political, I would say, right?
Agreed. I also think that maybe this is a hot take, but the ability, the access that women have to reading not just romance books, but even like the more like dark romance or smut or even erotica, right? Reading those books is a political statement.
Sure.
Whether or not you agree with me, it is. Like, having access to that type of material and not having that like damage you, right? Is because of politics.
Right.
That would not have been something you would have been able to do as a woman 50 years ago.
Sure.
Like engaging in that type of content at all is political.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And I think that applies to many different types of things and feels relevant specifically because of all of the banning of books that's happening.
Which I don't fully understand how that works. Is it like banning? So, like, if they ban The Handmaid's Tale, which I'm not sure if that actually is banned right now or not.
I don't know if it is in Utah, but I'm sure it is somewhere.
So does that mean it's like it can't be in a library?
It can be in a public library.
It can be in a public library?
Wait.
Because the public library is funded by the government.
I thought it was just schools.
So I was like, so definitely it's like, that's what I don't understand. Is it just banned in schools? Is it banned in libraries? Like, because obviously if you're a small business owner and you own a bookstore, like you can sell it.
Right. They're still sold. Like there's, I mean, free and Barnes and Noble has banned book tables.
And so that, so they, I don't know. But if it was banned, it couldn't be in the library, right? If it's a public library, that's.
I can't remember.
Public libraries are funded by taxes, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google it right now, actually, because now. Oh, hold on.
While you're Googling, I also have
from public libraries.
Another thought, which is that authors, like, when you're working on a piece of art, which is what writing is, right?
Yes.
An author is a human being. You have your own political bias. I find it hard to believe that you could write a story without putting your political bias in there.
Yeah.
With, like, not even intentionally.
Yeah.
Like, right? That just happens.
Yeah.
It's the same if, like, I'm writing a piece of music and I've been listening to a lot of, like, Title Fight or whatever. Like, I'm going to, like, subconsciously, like, have that in my mind and be pulling that into whatever I'm making. So I just feel like it's impossible for you to not put your biases into your work.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know?
Yes.
What did Google say?
Google is confusing.
Oh.
This says, where do banned books get banned from? Oh.
Because obviously we're not, I mean, as of right now, like, burning books.
No.
Like, you're not, like, they're not destroying, like, copies of The Handmaid's Tale. If they are,
it seems like they do get banned from public library.
Yeah, that would make sense, because it's not like a business.
Do occur in public libraries are not outright prohibited. Libraries have policies for acquiring and challenging materials, and these processes can lead to books being removed from the shelves.
That's crazy, dude.
So the other reason that I wanted to bring up book bans was recently, I think a few of the books that they banned have been now walked back, but they banned a lot of literature from, I think it was the Naval Library, like for the Navy.
Yeah.
A lot of them having to do with history and gender policies.
Yeah.
They've also scrubbed writing from government websites.
Yeah.
And
I've been seeing that too.
Yeah, right? So this is what I mean by saying reading anything is political.
Yeah.
Because the fact that you have it
right.
is political. The fact that you have access to this material is political. This was a right that was fought for that you earned. And should it be political is maybe a different conversation.
Yeah.
But as of right now, in the world you live in, reading 100%. Is rebellion at this point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, maybe that's a hot take.
Also, I think that having the opinion that books shouldn't be political tells me a lot about 100%. What your politics are.
Absolutely. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know that we've ever talked necessarily about censorship. But I am of the opinion that banning books does pretty much zero to help your child.
No. Yeah.
Like taking a book off the shelf that they may or may not even read.
Right.
Is such a small potatoes problem if you are being an actively involved parent.
Yeah. I mean, I'll never be a parent, so my opinion on parenting is zilch.
Yeah.
But it seems to me that, like, any, like, information, like, isn't harmful to a child. Like, what am I trying to say? I have a friend, okay, and his kid, whenever she, let's say she, like, hears a swear word or something, or sees somebody smoking a cigarette.
Sure.
They don't lie to her and be like, oh, he's, like, that's just, like, his lollipop or something. Right. Say, oh, that's a cigarette, and this is what a cigarette is, and this is why he's using the cigarette, and this is what's the cons of a cigarette, and why his pros for, like, smoking the cigarette, right? And giving her all the information, and now she understands what a cigarette is.
Right.
Like, that's much more impactful, in my opinion, for a child than just lying and being like, oh, that's not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I totally
Is that
agree.
kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like they're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Kids are gonna find out. They will learn one way or another. the kids will find the answers that they're
Right.
looking for, whether that's through you because you've built a relationship where they feel comfortable asking, or through a book at the library that finally helps them understand, like, oh, maybe what I'm feeling is that I have a different sexual orientation or
Yeah.
whatever. Like there isn't necessarily things wrong with information,
No.
right? It's how
Yeah.
that information is given to you, how it's handled, who you can trust with it.
Right.
And so it just doesn't make sense to me
Yeah.
to take information and literature away from people who could benefit from it.
Right.
If you don't want your kid to read that type of thing, that's a between you and your kid situation,
Sure, yeah.
not you and the government.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I obviously have lots of feelings on this topic.
I have one just overarching feeling.
What is that?
Besides the fact that all books are political, it's like why do you care so much?
Genuinely.
I'm like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know. It's just annoying to me at this point. Like, it's the same thing when like someone who has a platform, like a band or something, says like, "Oh, free Palestine." Someone's like, "Don't be political. Go back to playing chords." And I'm like, okay, man. Like,
people aren't one-dimensional.
Yeah, I'm like, it's a human being. I don't know.
Yeah. It's also,
like I said, saying that just tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah. Like, in what world do you exist where you think the people who are producing things for you are people you can tell what to do and say? Like, how? Please explain how that's even remotely in your lane.
Perform for me, monkey.
Literally, like they are giving you things. Like they are benefiting your life. It is not up to you how they show up.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And also, you cannot expect one dimension from humans.
Yeah.
That's just not.
It's not how it works. Big dog.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. And I don't know. I agree with you. If you have problems with people stating things that they value and care about, that says so much more about you than it does the person you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Read more books.
Read more books. Love you.